Welcome to a new Scary Tuesday. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that some of you have asked us about in the comments. People who can see and talk to the dead, those called mediums or seers. These people act as intermediaries between the world of the living and the world of the dead. They say that they can listen to and receive messages from the spirits, or directly lend their body to let the spirit speak through their voice or through their writing. There are two types of mediums. The mental ones who simply connect with the spiritual world, listening, feeling, or seeing the entities. And the psychicists, who come to produce the materialization or physical appearance of these souls using ectoplasm. It is a substance or spiritual energy that is formed from the cells of those present in the sessions. This substance flows and creates noticeable manifestations. Sometimes they are just blows, noises, or voices. But objects related to the spirit or parts of their body can be formed as faces or limbs. Physical mediums can also go into a trance and give up control of themselves, allowing the entity to take possession of their body. Sometimes they remain in a cataleptic state, unable to move, but others are able to open their eyes, move, and behave normally. Their way of speaking can also change completely. One of the first contacts with the afterlife was that of the Witch of Endor, a character from the Bible who allowed King Saul to contact the late prophet Samuel. The Celtic peoples also believed in reincarnation and had priests called druids who contact former warriors for advice. It was not until the mid-18th century when mediums and the spiritualists became popular. At the beginning, thanks to the work of scientists such as the Swedish Emanuel Swedenborg or the French Allan Kardec, who tried to demonstrate the existence of souls that inhabited the spiritual world and could communicate with human beings. In the 19th century, there were cases taking place already. The first and most famous was that of the Fox sisters, Maggie, 14 years old, and Kate, 10 years old, in 1847. They lived in a house in Hightsville, New York, where strange phenomena such as bumps on the walls and unexplained noises occurred, which made people think of the presence of a spirit. The girls tried to make contact with it, improvising an alphabet that allowed the spirit to answer the questions through blows. Thus, they discovered the story of a man who was murdered in that same house some time ago. The sisters became famous and began to travel all over the world, turning spiritualism into a new trend. But years later, during a conference, Maggie acknowledged that everything had been a fraud. Everything came up from a joke to make fun of their mother. However, the Fox sisters had already created a new way, and hundreds of mediums and societies of spiritualism emerged in Europe and America, even though the Catholic Church condemned these practices. Everywhere there were table turning, sessions around a board led by a medium to establish contact, and some of them became very popular. The British Douglas Home, apart from levitated and moving objects, managed to play instruments, tie handkerchiefs, or set up closed pendulums in a window. Their sessions were supervised by scientists who never reached a logical explanation for this phenomena. Despite becoming almost a religion, spiritualism was losing followers in the early 20th century, when many alleged seers were discovered cheating. Even so, today there are some mediums that are respected and consulted. Like the Canadian Marilyn Rosner, an expert in psychotherapy and psychology, who inspired the character of the seer in the movie Poltergeist. She says she has been in contact with entities since she was 4 years old, and she also sees certain things around people, such as colors, dates, or spirits. Even when someone is going to die, she is able to perceive that their astral body is prepared to leave the physical world. When she was 9 years old, she discovered that she could predict events when she had the vision that her cousin was going to fall down the stairs. She predicted the accident with the highest number of passengers killed in the history of aviation, the tsunami in Japan, and the fall of several political regimes, among other facts. Noreen Rainier, American, is a psychic detective who has collaborated with police officers from 5 different countries in about 400 cases. She works using a garment or a close object of the victim to put herself in their place, see through their eyes, and try to identify those responsible for the crime. Tyler Henry, on the other hand, is a 23-year-old spiritist, a North American television star where he presents a reality show. He shows his skills in clairvoyant sessions with different celebrities. One of his most famous achievements, having contacted the spirits of the late actors Brittany Murphy and Robin Williams. Nowadays, the power of mediums is still unproven, and although some have been unmasked, others show they possess some kind of power. What do you think, TikTokers? Is it possible to communicate with the dead? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!